Okay, before we move on to round 4, so before we put any more rounds around the outside of the piece, we're going to do some surface decorative stitching here. You can see this is the piece before and this is the piece after. You can see we've got 2 little circles of decorative stitches. The first is done in the opaline glass colour and the second is done in coral, and they're really pretty and much easier to achieve than they look. Now where we're going to be working to make this lovely zigzag effect, so you can see it's kind of going up and down, up and down, up and down. Where we're going to be working is in between the trebles of round 1, just like we did with the orange yarn, so in there, and in the chain spaces of round 2, just like we did with the yellow yarn, so in there. So those are the 2 places that hook is going to be going all the way around. And we're starting off by joining in between the trebles. So just at the end of these little orange V's, treat them like an arrow, they're going in there. Right, so pull your yarn through and just have a loop. Don't pull that too tight just at the moment, because that won't help you one little bit, and you can tighten it up in a minute. Right, so we've come through between the 2 trebles, so the next place we're going to go is into the chain space from round 2. So hook through, bring your yarn through, and these are slip stitches, so there's no yarn overs or anything happening here. That's just going straight through that loop, and that's made a slip stitch. Now you can pull, you can give the end a little bit of a pull at the back and just tighten that up a little bit if you want to. Okay, so we're secure and we're off. Next place to put the hook, at the end of the little orange V between the trebles of round 1, and of course I am referring to UK terms here. Up into the chain space from round 2, bring the yarn through and straight through the loop. No yarning over or anything like this, because we're doing straight slip stitches. Next place is down into between the trebles of round 1, bring the yarn through, straight through the loop, up to the chain space of round 2, yarn through the loop, through between the trebles of round 1, up into the space of round 2. I find it easy to sort of twist this as I pull it, so it's like a circle, so between trebles of round 1, space of round 2, trebles of round 1, space of round 2, all the way around. Now I won't make you watch this because it takes a little while, and we'll reconvene at the end, because on the last stitch you're going to need to finish off the round with the bodkin. You can't finish it with your hook, so I'll show you how to do that when we get to the end. Right, we're now at the end of the round. We've got one more stitch that we can complete with the hook, and that's up into the chain space. So just bring that through in a slip stitch as before. Now we can't go any further with the hook, because if we try and make a stitch into here, it's just, I'll show you what it looks like. If that comes through like that, where do we go from here? It just doesn't work, does it? So take that back. So the last stitch you've made with your hook has come through that chain space. Snip your yarn and pull it through to the front of the work. So you're finished with your hook for now. The yarn's through, coming through that last stitch, and you've got an end. So thread up your needle. Oh dear, here we go. Here we go. There we are. Thread up the needle, and we're just going to finish this off with the needle. So we've got our needle here threaded with a yarn, and we're going to pass it underneath. Can you see where the yarn came through right at the very beginning of this round? We're going to thread it underneath both bars there. Just being careful not to split anything. So straight through like that. pull it through. Don't pull it too tight like I have. Then put your needle back where the yarn has come out. Can you see it's coming out of there and through the loop of that stitch? You're going to put your needle straight back where it's coming out. Straight back through to the other side. And there you go. That's it, finished off. Now, since your needle is already threaded, flip it over and work in those ends. I love these two colours together. You can see it clearly on the back. I just love the orange and the blue together. So I shall fasten off these ends. Whilst we're here, I might as well show you. I tend to kind of weave under my stitches, but also when I'm coming back the other way, I do split the cotton a little bit just to hold it. So if you see what I mean, I'm just going to split the cotton like that, so then it won't go anywhere. Okay, that's that, and I'll do the same with this one, and then we'll move on. Right, next up we're going to work on the little inner slip stitch. It looks like embroidered chain stitch, doesn't it? So we're going to do that next, and we're going to use coral for that one. And we're joining in exactly the same way as we did the last time round, and in exactly the same place, which is to say we're joining our yarn by putting our hook between two of the trebles from round one, so in exactly the same way. We're going to repeat really what we did on the last round, except it's going to be straight and not zigzagging, so it's very straightforward. Pulled up a little loop there, no yarning over or anything like that, pure slip stitch, but this time we're just going over to the next gap between trebles from round one. Not going up and down, just going straight and pulling that straight through like a slip stitch. Do you see that? Let's do that again. So where my yarn is coming out, I'm finding the next treble and putting my hook through there, picking up the yarn, bringing it through and going straight through the loop on the hook, and doing that all the way around. So not skipping any stitches, not going up and down, just going round in a nice sort of smooth pattern of slip stitches, which is just the most even chain stitch you could ever hope to achieve. Have you tried embroidery? I've tried embroidery, I'm very bad at it. But this is a really beautiful, neat chain stitch achieved with a crochet hook. You could do it with a needle, but I don't know why, because this is so much quicker. At the end of this round, we'll be using our needle again to finish off, just like we did with the blue one. So it's really straightforward. Just make sure you put your hook between the trebles of round one. Don't pull things too tight. All the way around until you get to the beginning, which is there. Now you can see I'm right back to where I started. So just the same as before, snip that end. Pull the hook and pull the yarn through to the front of the work. All right. Thread the needle. Oh dear. Yay! And we will finish off with our needle. So again, in the same way, put your needle under both bars of that first stitch. Can you see? It's going under both bars. Bring the yarn through and don't pull it too tight. Just try and keep the tension the same as the other stitches. Bring the needle back round and put it down where the yarn has come out to start with, and back through those two trebles where it started. There you go. And give it a little pull and make it more circular. Isn't that beautiful? Oh, Greta, we do love you. So, look, neat on the back and everything. Gosh. My sewing teacher would be proud. Right, sewing your ends, and then you're ready to move on to the next round.